No more 5-year US visas for Nigerians. Just 3 months, one entry, and you're done. Yes, it's true. The United States has just made a drastic change to how Nigerian travelers get visas, and if you're not aware, it could completely disrupt your travel plans. In today's video, I'll explain the new US visa restriction, why they made this move, who it affects, and what it means for those planning to visit or reapply soon. Whether you're traveling for business, visiting family, or just exploring the US, this is one update you can't afford to miss. What is the new policy? As of July 8, 2025, the United States Department of State has officially revised its non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visa policy for Nigerians, and the change is quite significant. From now on, most non-immigrant, non-diplomatic visas issued to Nigerian passport holders will be single entry only, meaning you can only enter the US once on that visa, and valid for just 3 months from the date it's issued. That's just 90 days, so if you're applying for common visa types like Bone visas for business trips, BITWO visas for tourism, medical visits, or visiting family/friends, or the combined Bone/BITWO visa. You will no longer receive a 2-year or 5-year visa as was often the case before. Instead, you'll be issued a visa that expires in 3 months and can only be used once. To be very clear, even if your trip is just 1 week, once you enter the US and return to Nigeria, that visa cannot be used again. You'll have to apply for a new one for your next trip. This applies across board unless you fall into certain special categories like diplomatic visas or other exempt visa types. It's a huge shift, and it means Nigerians who used to enjoy long-term, multiple-entry flexibility will now face more restrictions, more costs, and more planning when traveling to the US. What was it before? Before this new restriction came into effect, Nigerian citizens were commonly granted 5-year multiple-entry visas, especially under the Bone/BITWO visa category. The Bone/BITWO visa is the most popular U.S. non-immigrant visa for Nigerians. It covers tourism, family visits, business meetings, medical trips, and even conferences or short-term training. With the 5-year multiple-entry visa, Nigerians had the freedom to enter and exit the United States several times over a 5-year period, without having to reapply for a visa after each trip. This flexibility made it easier for frequent travelers, business people, and families with ties in the U.S. to plan their travels without extra cost or paperwork every few months. You could attend a wedding in New York this year, return for a business meeting in Atlanta the next year, and visit family in Houston the year after, all on the same visa. Now, with the new rule in place, that freedom is gone. The 5-year multiple-entry privilege has been replaced by a much shorter, single-entry visa valid for only 3 months. It's a major downgrade from what many Nigerians had gotten used to over the years, and it will definitely impact how people plan their U.S. travel going forward. Why did this happen? According to the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, this new visa restriction is not a punishment. It's part of what's called a reciprocal visa policy. In simple terms, this means the United States is now applying the same visa rules to Nigerians that Nigeria applies to U.S. citizens. Historically, Nigeria has only offered 3-month single-entry visas to American citizens. So now, the U.S. is doing the same to Nigerians, 3-month validity, one-time entry. It's based on the principle of fairness. If your country limits our citizens, we'll apply the same limitations to yours. But beyond reciprocity, the U.S. government also points to security and immigration control as key reasons behind the policy shift. They say the decision is aligned with global technical and security benchmarks, which include preventing visa overstays. The U.S. wants to ensure that travelers return before their visa expires and do not remain in the country illegally. Verifying secure travel documents, ensuring that passports and travel records are authentic and not prone to forgery. Improving information sharing, encouraging countries to share important data such as criminal records, immigration violations, or public safety concerns to protect both borders. This move is about standardizing visa practices, maintaining national security, and ensuring that visa privileges are mutual and respected. The U.S. also made it clear that they are still committed to their relationship with Nigeria and are working closely with the Nigerian government to help meet international travel and documentation standards. So while the policy may seem harsh, it's part of a broader strategy focused on security, fairness, and future cooperation. Who does this affect? This new U.S. visa policy mainly affects Nigerians applying for Bone/BITWO non-immigrant visas, which are the most commonly requested U.S. visas. Let's break it down. Bone visa is for business purposes, like attending conferences, business meetings, or negotiating contracts. BITWO visa is for tourism, visiting friends or family, medical visits, or general leisure trips. Often, these are combined into one visa, the Bone/BITWO, which is what most Nigerian travelers get. So if you're planning a short-term visit to the U.S., this change directly impacts you. Instead of getting a 2- or 5-year multiple-entry visa like before, you'll now get a 3-month single-entry visa, effective immediately. But what if you're not applying for a Bone/BITWO visa? If you're seeking other types of U.S. visas like Phone Student Visa, Hone Billion Work Visa, Exchange Visitor Visa, JON, diplomatic or official visas, then this new rule may not apply to you in the same way. However, it's still strongly recommended that you check the official U.S. visa reciprocity schedule to confirm what applies to your specific visa type. Remember, visa rules can differ by purpose, category, and even country, so always stay updated with verified sources before making your travel plans. What about people with valid 5-year visas? Now, here's some relief for those who already have a valid U.S. visa in their passport. If your U.S. non-immigrant visa was issued before July 8, 2025, you are not affected by this new policy, at least not immediately. Your existing visa, whether it's a 2-year, 5-year, or multiple-entry Bone/BITWO visa, will remain valid until its original expiration date. That means you can still travel to the U.S. using that visa. You can enter and exit the U.S. multiple times. Just as the visa allows, you won't need to apply for a new one until your current visa expires naturally so. If you were issued a 5-year visa in 2023, for example, it will remain valid until 2028, and you can continue using it without any changes. But, and this is important, once that visa expires, any new application after July 8, 2025 will follow the new rules. 3 months validity, single entry only. So if you still have a valid U.S. visa in your passport, use it wisely. Make sure your travel documents are up to date, and be aware that when it's time to renew, the terms may be very different. When does the visa start counting? This is a very important point that many travelers often overlook. The 3-month validity period of the new U.S. visa for Nigerians starts from the day the visa is issued, not the day you travel or enter the United States. Let's say your visa is issued on August 1, 2025. It will automatically expire by October 30, 2025, whether you've used it or not. So if you get the visa but delay your trip or wait too long to finalize plans, you could end up with a visa that expires before you ever get to travel. That's a wasted visa and wasted money. This means you'll need to plan your travel very carefully. Ideally, you should already have your trip scheduled, including your flight, accommodation, and itinerary, before you apply for the visa, or at least shortly after it's issued. Unlike the previous 2-year or 5-year visas where you had a lot of flexibility, the new 3-month, single-entry visa gives you a very limited window to act. So once your visa is granted, don't delay. Make sure you enter the U.S. within that 90-day period, or you'll have to start the application process all over again. What's next for Nigerians? While this new policy is a major shift, it's important to know that the U.S. government has made it clear that this visa restriction is not set in stone. Visa reciprocity is an ongoing process, and the terms could change again, either for the better or worse, depending on how the situation evolves. So what can Nigerians do in light of this? 1. Pressure on the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government plays a crucial role here. Nigeria has historically offered short-term, single-entry visas to U.S. citizens. Now, the U.S. is doing the same for Nigerians. It's time for the Nigerian government to revisit its visa policies for U.S. citizens in a way that could negotiate better terms for Nigerians. This could involve advocating for longer visa durations, multiple entries, or more flexibility for Nigerian travelers. 2. Consider alternative visa categories if you're planning for long-term travel or repeated visits. Consider exploring other visa categories that might offer longer validity periods. These can include Phone Student Visa for those planning to study in the U.S. Hone Billion Work Visa, for professionals looking for employment in the U.S. JON Exchange Visitor Visa for cultural exchange programs, internships, or research. These visas typically offer longer durations of stay compared to the Bone/BITWO tourist/business visa, and may allow multiple entries. Depending on your purpose for traveling, switching to one of these visa categories could help you avoid the limitations of the new policy. In summary, the U.S. has changed its visa policy for Nigerians. No more 5-year visas for now. It's now 3 months, single entry, and it starts counting from the issue date. If you already have a valid visa issued before July 8, 2025, relax, you're fine. For more explanation on this new U.S. visa policy, visit the official website of the U.S. Embassy and Consulate in Nigeria. I've dropped the link for you in the description below. Stay updated, stay prepared, and always plan your travel with the latest information. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow travelers.